What's up, everybody? Mike Manzer here with another Manzer Faust Productions video. And, yeah, I'm back, and I'm talking today about the haul I got up in Bridgeport on Saturday. My buddies at the Archive in Bridgeport. If you know Vinegar Syndrome and movie collecting and everything, you know about the Archive. And, they were selling some records down the street at a record fair. Hadn't checked it out, but I've heard about it in the past, and decided to wander over there and got a couple from my friends at the Archive, and got a couple of other records from some other tables that I'll get into. So I wanted to get into the Archive stuff first, and there's only two, and they're both by the same band, but these are some huge reissues that I've been really excited about getting. I'm pretty sure they're all sold out on the A389 site. That was the label that reissued them. But this is some, like, really good 90s, like, early metalcore, metallic hardcore kind of stuff. And just amazing albums. And yeah. So the first one is one a lot of people should probably know. And if you don't, check it out. It's a utter classic. Cold as Life, Born to Land Hard. This is solid early metallic hardcore out of Detroit. Just brutal stuff. You know, has a lot in common with a lot of that, like, mid-90s kind of stuff. You can definitely pair this up with some classic Blood for Blood, all those kind of bands. Got that good inner sleeve art, and some cool black and blue splatter on the vinyl. Very nice. Sounds amazing. I've jammed this one a few times since I picked it up, and yeah, just solid stuff. Very happy that they had some copies of this left. And if I'm gonna pick up that, you know I had to pick up the other big Cold as Life release. And that is in memory of Rodney A. Barger, their original singer who passed away in 1993. And these are demo versions. Some of the songs appear on Born to Land Hard. Some of them are exclusive to here. And this is more solid material from Cold as Life. Just relentless, just dark, brooding evil, like metallic hardcore. Just represents, like, the degradation of living in Detroit and in a life of crime and everything like that. This is the real fucking deal. Can't beat it. And just like Born to Land Hard came on a cool color, we got this awesome black and white splatter. Very cool. So yeah, I am so happy to have these. They both come with, like, these gigantic posters, but, you know, they're pretty much like just the artwork and band logo and stuff. So next up, I went to another table And I didn't realize this, but I've actually been following this guy on Discogs for a while. He gave me his card. It's Get Awesome Records. And this dude has some fucking awesome records indeed. So I picked up a couple from him. This one I've had on tape forever. Like, I found a cheap tape of it at Red Skull like a long time ago. Yeah, they were definitely like at their old location at the time. But I remember it being pretty solid. It's some like real good lo-fi stuff. This is Absum. I believe they're from the States. Not sure. This has some cool kind of real raw kind of atmospheric vibes. Kind of reminds me a bit of that band out of Germany, Backsaxa. I still can't figure out how you're supposed to fucking say that. It's a weird ass name, but this definitely falls into that kind of vibe. A little bit more like violent sounding at times, but pretty solid. I like the sound of this record better than the tape, but I believe these both came out around the same time. This is put out by Final Agony, label I'm not familiar with, but they did an okay job on the packaging. It was cheap, and, you know, having heard the tape a bunch, you know, why not? Next up, last year's release from a project I really do love. It's been one of my favorite black metal projects of the last few years, and this is their debut on 20 Bucks Spin. I believe they were on Iron Bonehead before. And their LP from 2021 on Iron Bonehead is just unbelievable. This is an EP from last year, like I said, 20 Bucks Spin. The new Hulder, she might have a new one out. I don't remember. I didn't spend a lot of time with this last year as much as I would want to. But it's solid, real good shit. She never disappoints. It's a little bit more like straightforward than the LP was. The LP went off in like a lot of like symphonic, atmospheric directions, real cool splatter effects on the vinyl. Very nice. Real solid. The production kind of went back to the first kind of demo record that she put out. For those of you who don't know, Hulder is a one-person black metal project, I believe from Portland, but she uses a lot of influence from her Belgian heritage. So there's a lot of use of Belgian folklore and kind of that sort of culture within the music. And she's just been killing it the last few years, just releasing great raw black metal. Seriously, you know, all the hype is for good reason. Seriously good stuff. Check out Hulder. And the last guy I picked up, I got 3 records from him, and these are all like fucking classics from all different eras. Well, 2 of them are from like the late 80s, but they all represent their own kind of lane, I guess. So first up, I'm not big on this reissue. The kind of packaging leaves a bit to be desired, is a bit obnoxious. I don't, just like everything's glossy now, and I don't really like that. It just feels kind of cheap and light. Just not very good, but eventually I'm gonna get like the OG copies of both these bands' releases. And yeah, so Exumer, Risen from the Sea, the second album from '87, I believe. This is a German kind of speed metal thrash kind of thing. More in line with stuff like coming out of Canada, like Exciter and Razor and Sacrifice, more so than the typical German stuff you would hear at the time coming out of bands like Sodom or Destruction, Creator. I'd say this band, out of all those bands, has a lot in common with like Destruction, but even so, this is a lot more traditional speed metal, much like Exciter and Razor. Pretty cool triple fold out. Not that much to write home about. It's got some cool information, lyrics. The German flag part is kind of cool, but yeah, it's a solid record. Not as good as their debut, Possessed by Fire. That is probably one of my favorite German speed metal records of that time. But yeah, still pretty solid. Still a lot of great tunes on this. Risen from the Sea by Exumer. Next up, this is a record that I've been aware of for a while. Haven't really taken a dive on it, but happy I did. And it's pretty solid black and thrash. We got Communion. This is a reissue on vinyl of a CD-only release from 2010. It's an EP put out by Temple of Mystery Records. And this is some really good Chilean black and thrash. There's like a ton of this shit coming out. This is definitely channeling a hardcore amount of Sodom and Sarcophago vibes. Definitely a lot of German, definitely a lot of Brazilian. Good amount of like just riffage and craziness like that. Chile has a lot of these kind of bands coming up in the like early 2000s and late 90s. Chainsaw and Force of Darkness, Hades Archer. Just a lot of this cool kind of black and thrash, a little bit of war metal vibes in there. You definitely get a lot of like classic Bathory and like first album Bathory and first two album Venom vibes off of this, but a lot more so in like the German proto second wave black metal stuff. So you got like a lot of Sodom and maybe some like Creator, Flag of Hate era stuff. Very cool, great stuff, and more I could dive into that Chilean stuff. I'm down with. So last up, we got a classic Brazilian comp from, I believe, the late 80s. Can't really remember what year this came out, but solid comp. Warfare Noise. This is a 4-way kind of split compilation with Chacal, Mutilator, Sarcophago, and Holocausto. And this is definitely like the prototypical, what we would think of now with the black and thrash, war metal kind of stuff. Brazil was cranking a lot of that great stuff out. The only thing about this that I'm kind of disappointed is that it doesn't feature my two favorite Brazilian bands, that being Volcano and Mystifier. But this is solid. My favorite material on here is probably Mutilator. That is the most kind of eccentric and thrash-driven type of stuff. It has the best riffs. You got a lot of the like high, like wah, kind of like power metal style vocals on it. Really solid stuff from them. The Sarcophago stuff I really like. They've never been my favorite of the Brazilian stuff. I get their influence, you know. Everybody always calls them out alongside Beherit and Blasphemy's material, but they've always just kind of sounded a bit like redundant to me, a little bit repetitive. Never really did it for me. I mean, I love INRI as much as anybody does, but I feel like their second album, I can't remember the name of it, and there was an EP along with it too. I pretty much prefer those over INRI. I just feel like they're a lot more developed and there's a lot more interesting kind of music going on. Holocausto is, you know, straight ahead war metal. Not really my thing. I'm not too big on it. It just kind of gets a little boring after a minute. Chacal, is pretty good. They're definitely more of like a punk vibe. Brazil at this time had a hell of a lot of great punk rock. Cholera, Holo Seco, Ratas Toparo. A lot of that kind of stuff was coming out. And, you know, if you wanted to pick a band to kind of align themselves with that stuff, probably Chacal. I don't know much about them other than that. This is a repress by Osmos Productions, of course. And, you know, some of the Holocausto stuff is censored out. Do your own research on why that is. Another reason I'm not a big fan of that band. And cool about this, we get it on this nice orange vinyl. Very good. Sounds amazing. I know that you can get like an original of this pretty affordably. I got this for pretty cheap. He had it in the 50% off bin and had to jump at it. I don't remember the guy's name that sold it to me, but he had a pretty good, I feel like he just sells at shows. I don't think he has an online presence like Get Awesome Records does. But yeah, really happy to have gotten the records from him. This is a great release. And, you know, I don't really care about the original. I mean, it would be cool to have, but considering the Holocausto stuff, maybe don't want it in my collection, and I'll settle for this. But this is solid. Very good shit. Yeah, that'll do it. So, you know, if you need to find me on social media, my Instagram is the Hordes of Manzerfaust. I'll do all that great stuff, like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, go support all the other great YouTubers making vinyl content and Blu-ray content and all these different communities. And, yeah, my name is Mike Manzer with another Manzerfaust Productions video. Stay fucking metal.